This is KPW with This Week in BC Minor League Sports here on CJSF 90.1 FM. You can also listen in at cjsf.ca and on TELUS HD channel 7014 as we're broadcasting from Burnaby, British Columbia. Now, it's an exciting time for young amateur hockey players in our country this month as the playoffs have begun in many provinces for both junior and midget leagues. And it's no different here in the province of British Columbia as the BC Major Midget Hockey League began its playoffs a week ago, and we saw 4 very exciting series indeed. Now, a couple of upsets as well as a couple of sweeps along the way. Fortunately for me as a fan, and for you as well if you happen to check the action out. But fortunately for me as a fan, 2 of the 4 series took place here in the Lower Mainland. One of them was the Vancouver Northwest Giants, who play home games in Burnaby, hosting the underdog South Island Royals, a team from Victoria. The other series taking place here in the Lower Mainland was the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs, who normally play in Coquitlam, hosting the Valley West Hawks in Port Coquitlam last weekend because their normal rink up in Coquitlam had some scheduling conflict. Last weekend's action included games in Burnaby and Port Coquitlam, which was fantastic. The other 2 series were the number 1 seed, the Caribou Cougars, hosting the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds in Prince George, and also the defending champion Okanagan Rockets playing at home in Kelowna against the Greater Vancouver Canadians. So let's get started with the playoff recap for this week. Let's begin in Burnaby with the Vancouver Northwest Giants hosting South Island, and that series began last Friday. The Giants, who were the number 2 seed during the regular season, have been in the league finals for each of the last 6 years, and we're hoping to make it 7 straight in the finals. So definitely a powerhouse team for the last few years. The South Island Royals, meanwhile, from what one of the players told me when the 2 teams played late in the season in North Vancouver, apparently had never beaten the Giants ever. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I didn't get a chance to find out for sure. But it's probably true because the Giants have been a perennial powerhouse and pretty tough to beat. And the player the South Island player that talked to me before kind of suggested that they've never beaten the Giants in the existence of the franchise for South Island. So definitely not looking good. If you are going into the series trying to analyze this particular series, just because the Giants were playing at home, they were the better team during the regular season, and consider that the Royals have never beaten, or at least have not beaten the Giants in recent past. That's kind of very tough to go into the hostile rink in Burnaby and try and beat them. But nonetheless, the games are played on the ice, not on paper. So let's talk about this. Because none of the history mattered, none of the standings mattered when the puck dropped on Friday night to open the series. Because after a scoreless first period, the Giants ran into some penalty problems because the referee kept calling penalties on them. Midway through the second period, the Royals had a 5-on-3 advantage, and captain Brandon Tutt put them on the scoreboard with a power play goal. Later in the period, defenseman Ryan Warner also scored in the power play, and there was 2-0 for the Royals. And actually, it seemed like there were Giants players in the penalty box throughout the period. I know from standing in the stands with the Giants supporters and basically the parents of the players. On the Giants side, they were pretty upset because the power play chances that South Island was getting was a lot. So the parents were just yelling and screaming about that from the stands. But I believe at one point, or I believe for the second period, from what I remember, there were at least 3 instances where the Royals had 5-on-3 man advantages, so at least 3 times from what I remember. So definitely a huge advantage in terms of playing a short-handed team on the ice, for the Royals. So they were up 2-0 at that point of the game in the second period. And now, despite that, the Giants were actually the ones that were carrying the play and out shooting the Royals, and the Giants were the dominant team, but just ran into the penalty problems. Southline goaltender Austin Roden actually kept his team in it because, as I mentioned, the Giants were out shooting the Royals. but trailing on the scoreboard 2-0. But the Giants finally scored late in the second period to make it 2-1, which you thought might be the turning point because they were down just by 1 goal heading into the third period. And in the third period, the Giants kept throwing the puck on the net, and finally, Giants defenseman Carter Stevenson, who had celebrated his birthday the previous day, scored in a wraparound, and the building went nuts because it was 2-2 at that point, and all the momentum was on the Giants side. And now in regular season play, there's no overtime. If the two teams play to a tie at the end of regulation, but in the playoffs, they actually play 10-minute sudden death overtime periods. And as the clock wound down in regulation, you had the feeling that the Giants were going to win it late or get the winner in overtime because they were pretty much controlling the play. But nobody else scored in the third period, and then the game went into the overtime without any intermission. They just started the overtime after a couple of minutes, of rest. And then early in the sudden death period, the Royals were the ones that came into the Giants zone, and defenseman Curtis Gamble, number 6 of the Royals, blasted a shot from blue line that and went into the net. And I think everybody was stunned where I was standing, where the Giants supporters were. They were stunned at that turn of events, and the Royals celebrated on the ice, and they should, because it was a stunning upset win for the South Island Royals as they won 3-2 in overtime to open the series. Here was the overtime hero, Curtis Gamble, the defenseman of the South Island Royals, chatting with me afterwards. We're speaking with Curtis Gamble of the South Island Royals following a big 3-2 overtime win over the Giants. And you scored the game winner. Take us through that winning play.
My teammate, Gainey, made a nice pass, and I kind of just shot it, hoping for the best, and it happened to go in, and we won.
What would you say that's probably the biggest goal that you scored in this league?
Definitely the biggest goal I've ever scored in this league. Yeah, the first time we've ever beaten the Giants in my 3 years in the league, and I think South Island's existence, actually.
Okay, so a historic victory, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You guys actually blew a 2-0 lead in the third period. Were you guys, panicked, or would you guys think you were gonna come back and pull this off in overtime or in the third period?
I wasn't panicked at all. No, nothing really went through my head like that at all. No, we were just focused on doing our job, playing the game, doing what we need to.
Now, I guess the Giants kind of cared to play in the late stages of the game to try and get the tie. Now, moving forward, what do you guys need to do in order to win this series?
We just need to keep playing how we're playing, get pucks deep, play in their zone, and believe in ourselves and our ability to win the game.
Now, again, I guess a historic win today. I guess first win over the Giants, I think, in the team's existence. So, again, congratulations, Curtis, and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Another hero for the Royals was goaltender Austin Roden, and here's what he had to say. We're speaking with Austin Roden, the goaltender of the South Island Royals, following a big 3-2 overtime win over the Vancouver Northwest Giants. Big win today. Thoughts about the victory?
Yeah, we were really good today as a team, I think. We rallied together in the overtime, and when we got scored on there, we didn't let up. And I think we played a really good game today. One of our best games of the season, for sure.
Definitely a great game for you as well, Austin. I believe they outshot you guys in regulation and carried the play in the third period especially. Thoughts about your own performance and keeping the team in the game?
Kind of keep the team in the game, stay calm, make the saves I need to make. Not much to it.
All right, so just doing your job as usual.
Yeah, just do your job.
Awesome. And now, what do you guys need to do moving forward in order to take this series?
Well, we need to celebrate this win, obviously, and then tomorrow reset and back to square one. We got to do this all again tomorrow.
A little bit about yourself, Austin. Who would you say is your favorite NHL goalie and why?
Marc-Andre Fleury or Carey Price, just because they're so calm. They're Canadian kids. Price is from BC.
All right, and just to get to know you a little bit, Austin, what would you say is your favorite subject in school?
Social studies. Do the best in that.
All right, and any favorite rock band or rock group or anything like that?
No, not really. Listen to anything.
Okay, so all kinds of music.
Yeah.
All right, finally, favorite pregame meal?
Don't usually get a choice, but pasta.
Okay.
Alfredo. Anything like that.
Good enough. All right. Again, the big victory today over the Vancouver Northwest Giants. So Austin, great effort in goal. So congratulations again, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Now, this was a best-of-3 series, and the following night on Saturday, the Giants looked to pull even. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead this time, and unfortunately, they saw South Island tie things up. The game went into overtime again, and Nash Dabb scored for the Giants, the high-scoring forward for Vancouver Northwest, and the series was tied 1-1. Now, I wasn't at that game because I was covering the series happening in Port Coquitlam, but if you're a Giants fan, I'm sure you probably would have been nervous because, a 7th place team, the South Island Royals, had taken the Giants to overtime in 2 straight games. I mean, that speaks volumes about the parity in the league, and that's a good thing for the league's growth, which is important. But definitely a tight series. Both games could have gone either way. One shot here, one shot there could have changed the outcome. Game 3, the deciding contest, it was played at 9:30 a.m. at the Burnaby Winter Club. That's Sunday morning, and of course, I can't be there all the time. I mean, I covered the game on Friday, and then I went to Port Coquitlam to cover another series on Saturday, and now, so making it back to Burnaby on Sunday, that's probably too much. It's a 9:30 a.m. start. I did follow the game on Twitter, though, and according to the Twitter feeds, Captain Keegan Jones of the Giants, number 17, for Vancouver Northwest, scored from his own blue line in the first period while playing shorthanded. So that was on a Royals power play. So I'm assuming it was a simple clearing attempt, and it went all the way down and got past the goalie. Now, I didn't see the goal, so that's what I assume based on how they described it on Twitter. Kind of like what Ray Bork did for Boston one time against Hartford's Kate Whitmore, assuming. Anyway, it was 1-0 on a fluke goal, and nobody else scored the rest of the period, and in the second period as well, nobody else scored. So it was a 1-0 going to the third period. It looked like the Giants would advance on that fluke goal. Again, I guess just a clearing pass or a clearing attempt from the blue line by Captain Keegan Jones that beat the South Line goaltender for the 1-0 lead. By this time, I was actually out of the house and I was on my way to the rink after running some errands. I was trying to make it for the third period, but being on the Sunday, transit was bad, so I kept checking Twitter on the bus, make sure I wasn't missing anything important. And then I saw on Twitter that the Royals tied it up with 3 minutes left in the third period, so that meant possibly overtime for the third straight game. And I was actually on the bus literally just 5 minutes away from the rink, and I got off the bus when it arrived near the rink, and I was walking quickly toward the venue to try and catch the overtime. And as I approached, I saw in the distance people filing out already, and I saw the bus with the Royals ready to pick up their bags and stuff like that. So I checked Twitter again. I was walking, and I saw that the South Island Royals tweeted that Caden Peck had just ended the game in overtime for the Royals. And Caden Peck, who had just celebrated his 17th birthday on Saturday, scored on Sunday to give the South Island Royals a dramatic 2-1 win in overtime, and he scored a series winner there. So the Giants were out, and they will not be participating in the finals for the first time in 7 years. Kind of a stunner because again, they led 1-0 in the throughout the game, and I believe the Royals tied up with 3 minutes to go. But I did manage to track down Coach Jackson Penny of the South Island Royals as he was on his way to the bus, and he was kind enough to chat with me for a couple of minutes. We're speaking with head coach Jackson Penny of the South Island Royals following a big 2-1 win to win the series over the Northwest Giants. Coach, thoughts about this latest victory?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm really happy with our boys. They came to play for 3 games and they gave me 60 minutes each night. And, when your team does that, anything can happen. Our goaltending was good. We did all the little things that we had to do to win. And, when it's overtime, you never know what's going to happen. Just put the puck in the net and that's what you have to do.
Obviously, the Giants had a 1-0 lead throughout the game, all the way to the final minutes. What was it like on the bench when you guys tied it with just 3 minutes to go?
Well, all I do is stress to them is that, they're the favorite team to win, and, all we have to do is just keep sticking to our game plan and just keep pushing forward. We had to make them make a mistake, and, we got lucky enough that that's what happened, and we ended up capitalizing on it. Our power play was atrocious this whole weekend, and, you know what, we ended up getting one on it, and it just turned everything around.
And 3 games in this series, 3 overtime games. I guess you guys really battled hard and gave the Giants everything that they could handle. So thoughts, how proud are you of your boys for, ultimately winning this series?
Well, you know what, like I can't say enough about the guys. I mean, they left it out on the ice for 3 straight games, when it goes to overtime, and I think both teams did, and it was just, it's just one of those great series that everybody likes to watch, and the kids all had fun, and, at the end of the day, we ended up scoring the 2 overtime winning goals, and we're moving on to the next series. I'm really proud of my guys.
All right, once again, congratulations, Coach, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And I'm sure they're all anxious to get back to Victoria, get home, get on a bus, be ready to leave. So it was very kind of Jackson Penny, the head coach, to spend a couple of minutes there chatting with me. Of course, he probably had to, talk to some of the parents as well who were there, get his players ready to board the bus and so on. So it was nice of him to spend a few minutes for the interview. So the Giants were out. What about last year's champion, the Okanagan Rockets? Now, they hosted the Greater Vancouver Canadians, a team from Richmond, up in Kelowna, and the first game went into overtime. It went into triple overtime, actually, before Kyle Yu, number 12 of the Canadians, scored to give them a 4-3 win. Kyle Yu, of course, had 30 goals on the season, and we spoke with him late in the year. An interview which I ran on this program a few weeks back. A very soft-spoken player, but clutch for sure. So he gave the Canadians a 1-0 series lead with that overtime goal. As I was looking at Twitter as well, believe on Saturday he got injured in the second game, which is tough for the Greater Vancouver Canadians for sure. Not sure what the extent of the injury is or how serious it is, but in that game too, the Rockets were the ones that fired 43 shots on goal, but they could not beat Canadians goalie Matteo Palachal. And the Greater Vancouver Canadians shocked the defending champions 2-0 to knock them out. So the Canadians got their 2 goals in the third period. So it was a tight game again, and it went down to the final minutes. Another great series, but unfortunately that one happened outside the Lower Mainland, so I did not get a chance to watch it, but I followed it on Twitter. So last year's 2 finalists, the Vancouver Northwest Giants and the Okanagan Rockets, are both out in the first round. So again, a lot of parity in the league. Teams throughout the season was telling me that, how this year anybody could win if they play well and if they get a few breaks here and there. And, as we can see, last year's champions are out, and, the Northwest Giants are also eliminated. So, it's, I guess lots of surprises happening in the playoffs so far. Anyway, you're listening to This Week in BC Minor League Sports here on CJSF 90.1 FM. My name is KP Wee. Now, the number 1 seed, the Caribou Cougars, also got a scare when the number 8 seeded Fraser Valley Thunderbirds took them to 3 games in a best of 3. The Cougars won the first game 3-1 on Friday, and then the Thunderbirds evened the series with a 4-2 win on Saturday night. On Sunday morning, the Cougars jumped ahead to a 3-0 lead before Fraser Valley made 3-2 in the third period. But there was no upset here because the first place Caribou Cougars scored in the empty net in the final minute and won the game 4-2. They won the series 2-1 and are now hosting the 7th place Royals in the semifinals. Now, the final quarterfinal series had the number 3 Vancouver Northeast Chiefs facing the number 6 Valley West Hawks. Now, I understand that the Planet Ice rink in Coquitlam had some scheduling conflicts, so this series actually took place at the Port Coquitlam Recreational Center. And if you were, traveling from Burnaby or Vancouver, you would take the number 160 bus, and it takes you right there. I was there on Saturday when the series opened, so they played Saturday, Sunday for the first 2 games, and Monday for game 3 if necessary. You wonder about the Chiefs because of the lack of home ice advantage. I mean, it's not their home rink that they're accustomed to, but they're playing in, I guess, it's like a neutral site rink. And the crowd factor is that's kind of a wash because half of the crowd was were parents of the Hawks, so it was like 50-50 split. But anyway, on Saturday in the opening game, the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs went ahead 2-1 in the second period, thanks to 2 goals by defenseman Callum Volpe. The Hawks, though, scored 3 straight goals to make it 4-2 after 40 minutes. They got a couple of power play goals late in that period to go ahead 4-2. No, I didn't actually see this, but apparently a couple of the parents of the Hawks players saw it. They were talking about it next to me. They weren't talking to me, but I was there and I overheard what they were saying. they were talking, and these were a couple of the Hawks players' parents talking. They were talking about how the Hawks were seemed kind of overconfident and was celebrating prematurely at the end of that second period. So the parents, they were kind of concerned about that. Perhaps they were too cocky, if you will. So you have to wonder if the Chiefs saw that and how they would react in the third period. While early in the final period, Callum Volpe scored his third goal of the game to cut the deficit to 4-3, and there are 3 hats that flew onto the ice from the stands to celebrate that hat-trick goal. It was kind of neat. The Chiefs were carrying the play in that final period, and they tied it shortly after with number 10 Parker Colley getting the tying goal. When then 4-4 now with 10 minutes and 38 seconds left in regulation, guess who scored? That's right, that was Callum Volpe with his 4th goal of the game, so 4 goals. And the Chiefs are ahead 5-4. Now, Volpe had 10 goals in the regular season. He's a defenseman for the team, and 10 goals in the regular season, but 4 in the first playoff game. 5-4 for the Chiefs at that point, and Harris Pierce scored about a minute later to make it 6-4. Now Valley West scored with just over 6 minutes left in regulation to make it a 1-goal game, and then the Hawks got a late break when the Chiefs were given a double minor penalty, so that meant 4 minutes of power play time with about 6 minutes to go. The Hawks actually got some good shots on goal trying to tie the game, but the goaltender for the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs, Liam McCloskey, made some good glove saves there during that shorthanded situation. And the Chiefs scored into an empty net late in the game and hung on for a 7-5 victory to open their playoff series. Now here's the game's number 1 star, defenseman Callum Volpe, with his thoughts after the game. We're speaking with Callum Volpe of the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs, following a big 7-5 win over the Valley West Hawks to open the playoffs. 4 goals for you tonight. What are your thoughts?
Well, really, it was just a team effort out there. I know it sounds like pretty cliche, but I mean, my teammates were distributing the puck really well tonight. We were moving it well. We were skating with speed and getting lots of shots, and I was lucky enough to pop forward.
What did you think, or what did you feel when you saw hats flying onto the ice from the stands?
It was a pretty special feeling. I've never got a hat trick before, so that was pretty cool to see the hats going. And we had a great crowd out there tonight, and we did it with their support. It was awesome.
And your 4th goal actually put you guys up for good. That gave you guys a 5-4 lead at that point. What do you remember about that 4th goal?
Oh, I heard all the cheers, and I looked over the bench, and they were going nuts, and it just really boosted our team's confidence. And then we just stuck together in the third, and we pulled it out.
And what do you guys need to do in order to perhaps potentially win this series over the Hawks?
Tomorrow we just need to come out and do the same thing. We know they're a tough team. They like to hit us hard, and we just got to be prepared for that and move the puck quick like we did today, get lots of shots, and we'll be just fine tomorrow.
And just want to touch on the late penalty that you guys had in the final minutes. You guys had a double minor against you. Talk about how big that penalty kill was to preserve the lead there.
Oh, it was huge. The boys rallied together. I know Santillo, he wasn't too happy with himself. I mean, it was a tough play, but it happens, and it was a 4-minute, and we just pulled it all together, and we really committed there, blocking shots and getting the puck out, and we did it there. We killed it off really nicely.
All right, awesome. Again, thanks so much, Callum. 4 goals tonight. Big 7-5 win over the Valley West Hawks. Guys, once again, congratulations, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
And here's Ziam Kareem, who scored the empty netter. Actually, he could have passed a puck to Callum Volpe at the blue line to try and get his 5th goal of the game, but it was a 1-goal affair at that time, and Kareem had the open net, so that was a safe play, but I guess you wonder about that anyway. But here's Kareem with his thoughts. Ziam Kareem of the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs following a big 7-5 win over the Valley West Hawks in Game 1 of the playoffs. 5 goals in the third period for the boys. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, going to intermission in the second period, we had no doubts we were going to come back. We've gone through a lot of stuff like this in the season, and we've always come out on top, so we had no doubts at all.
Now, I believe you guys beat these guys, the Hawks, late in the regular season. Did that give you the added confidence that you were going to perhaps pull this one off?
Yeah, well, we scored 18 goals in our 2 games against them in the last series when we played them in the season. So we knew we could muster out the amount of goals we needed to win the game.
And I just want to touch on something that happened in the end of the second period. I didn't actually see it, but a couple people in the crowd were talking about it, that seemed like the Hawks were kind of celebrating prematurely at the end of that second period. Did you guys see that, and thoughts about that, or comments about that?
Well, I didn't see it, but I guess it's not the biggest respectful thing to do, I guess, and maybe think about it next time.
All right, and finally, what would you say you guys need to do in order to possibly win this series moving forward?
They just play like we did today and just believe in ourselves. We can go all the way if we want to.
All right, and actually one more thing. What was your feeling when you scored the empty goal to seal it for the boys?
Pretty relieving. We knew we had it all the way, so pretty good.
All right, thanks so much again, Ziam Kareem, for the interview, and again a 7-5 win over the Valley West Hawks. Congratulations and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Finally, here's Harris Pierce, who got the game winner for the Chiefs. We're speaking with Harris Pierce of the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs following a big 7-5 win over the Valley West Hawks in Game 1 of the playoffs. You scored the game winner tonight. Thoughts about that play?
Well, I just kind of threw it up the middle and my line mates caught it, and I went down and I got the puck from Long, and he made a beauty pass to me right in the middle, and I just kind of pulled it back and shot right through what's his name, Walters.
All right, and that turned out to be the game winner, of course. And you guys actually scored 5 goals in that final period to come back from a 4-2 deficit. What changed for you guys in the third period?
Well, obviously, Volpe with a huge game with 4 goals, and we all congratulated him. But it was just the energy in between periods. We came together as a team and we came back.
And there was like a double minor in the final stages of the game where you guys were shorthanded. Talk about that penalty kill and how huge it was, to get you to the win.
Well, it was very nerve-wracking actually stepping on the ice, so it was a lot of pressure on me, obviously, and I just played my position and pressured well, and I ended up doing well out there and killed the penalty. So.
And Harris, what do you guys need to do in order to possibly take this series moving forward?
Well, obviously we can't get down like we did today in the first couple periods. We just pull through and play a whole 60 minutes tomorrow.
All right, thanks so much for the interview, Harris Pierce. Again, a big victory today, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Now, in Game 2 on Sunday, the Chiefs scored early, and Matthew Davis had 2 goals for them. Number 18 for the Chiefs. Matthew Davis scoring twice. Liam McCloskey was perfect in goal, and the Chiefs beat the Valley West Hawks 5-0 to sweep that series. So congratulations to the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs, as well as the Southland Royals, the Greater Vancouver Canadians, and the Caribou Cougars, all for winning their opening round series. And you're listening to This Week in BC Minor League Sports here on CJSF 90.1 FM. The athlete of the week obviously would be Callum Volpe, number 8 on the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs of the BC Major Midget Hockey League. He scored 4 goals in 1 game to help the Chiefs win their playoff opener on Saturday. And again, the Chiefs were down 4-2 after the second period, and he scored twice in the third period and actually the 4th goal of the night for him put his team up for good, and they hung on the rest of the way. So definitely a clutch performance for Callum Volpe, number 8 of the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs, and for that, he's our athlete of the week. And for more information about the BC Major Midget Hockey League, including schedules and scores, please visit bcmml.net. That's bcmml.net. That's all for the program today. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed all the interviews and the recap. We'll talk to you again next time.
I'm Jamie Sessford, and this is your CJSF Arts Report for the week of March 8th, 2015. Sunday! Turning Point Ensemble with SFU Woodwards presents the playful, unique, and iconic Carnival. Enjoy a rich musical evening with Turning Point Ensemble's exceptional musicians at 8 p.m. at SFU Goldcorp Center for the Arts. Sunday! The Robert Linds Gallery presents the work of Jaden Chase Lemire in a solo exhibition in advance of. His practice examines the transient quality of memory through print, photography, and sculpture as he explores the elusive nature of remembering. Opening reception is March 10th at 7:30 p.m. This event runs until March 31st. The Windsor Gallery brings forth new paintings by Quebec artist Paul Bellevaux in his new exhibition, Venitas. An expert in drawing, painting, and engraving, Bellevaux's art has been described as pictorial archaeology. Running until March 25th, the Windsor Gallery is located at 258 East 1st Avenue. For CJSF, I'm Jamie Sessford.